Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Borough TV Live. This is Terry McCullum, and tonight we're going to be discussing the COVID-19 pandemic and how it relates to our beloved Willingboro community. We have a special guest with us this evening. Deputy Mayor Kaya McIntosh is going to be joining us, and we do have a few questions that we're going to ask and some things that we're going to go over regarding the pandemic, especially how it has impacted our community in such a huge way. So I'm thankful for everyone joining us this evening, and we're going to go ahead and bring our Deputy Mayor on. Uh, Deputy Mayor, you there?
I'm here.
Hello, welcome
I
to
am
Borough
here.
TV. How are you doing?
Hello. I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good as best as I could be right now. I'm trying to get through this quarantine situation, but we're doing
I
well.
hear you.
That's good. So, Deputy Mayor, thank you very much for joining us today. We just have a couple of things that we want to discuss, talking about the current pandemic, the situation that we're in. There's been so much going on. There's been so many reports coming out about why Willingboro has such a high number of positive cases of COVID-19. We've discussed it before, and we're just trying to get some more clarity on why that is so. Why do you think that in a population where our residents are predominantly African American, some people think that there's a reason that we have such high numbers. What's your take on that?
Well, the numbers are in. We got the numbers from the county.
Hmm.
Um, my take, we're still the data set right now is still, to me, not complete. In order to make a definite determination, there's a lot of factors when they're collecting the data that it's everything. They're not including everything. Like, for instance, they're trying to attribute our high number to race per
Hmm.
se. However, race is not collected during when they're testing. That's not collected. So how can we even
Right.
make that a assumption? So the council, we're very numbers driven. We're very data driven.
Hmm.
Our current council. So we're working with the county right now to determine, we're really we want to know why too.
Right.
You
Right.
know, Unfortunately, when we look at the deaths, they're a little young,
Hmm.
compared to other um, municipalities in the county. So, we have questions because, they'll try to say, hey, you have an aging population. Or hey, y'all are not social distancing, y'all are being insubordinate, and you're not doing X, Y, and Z, or oh, y'all just dirty,
Yeah.
you know. And so we gotta really make sure we understand our own narrative.
Hmm.
So the number is concerning, like I said, relative to surrounding municipalities. If we want to compare our number to the full Jersey, it's not the highest, you
Right.
know, or even, similar sized towns in Camden County, we're not the highest. But
Hmm.
considered in Burlington County, relative to Burlington County, we have to look at that.
Right.
But I wouldn't
Understood.
automatically say it's because we're African American,
Mm-hmm.
because that has not been determined and that data has not been collected.
Yeah, that's one of the things that a lot of people are looking at, and there's a lot of, I want to say, conspiracy theorists who
Mm-hmm.
are theorizing that this pandemic is associated with some kind of plot to wipe out African Americans. It's almost as if we've been targeted when it comes to COVID-19.
And I can see where it seems like that. I think from an African American perspective, I
Hmm.
wouldn't necessarily we're conspiracy theorists. So, we
Hmm.
understand some history. You
Right.
know,
Absolutely.
so that's everybody pulls on their experiences and understanding, of certain things that have happened
Right.
previously. But that may or may not be true.
Hmm.
Everybody has a little bit conspiracy theorist in them.
Oh,
Um,
absolutely.
I do, and I got to keep. I wouldn't call myself a conspiracy theorist. I just
Hmm.
observe. I observe data.
Right. Right.
But with that being said, there's a lot, it could be a lot of things. So I
Hmm.
don't think, we can just automatically dismiss people's theories.
Right.
However, I just want to make sure we, everybody can have their theories on what's happening, but we cannot excuse not being
Hmm.
safe. Like we can,
Right.
that's not an excuse not to adhere to some of the new rules,
Right.
because we, as a community, we have to make sure that we protect ourselves and each other.
Hmm.
So, like I said, I will never dismiss everybody's theory. We got the
Right.
5G, we got a whole lot of stuff,
Mm.
which may or may not, unless somebody's sitting with a microscope looking at something, looking at a certain data set. We have some scientists. I want to hear some scientists talk,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know, but and doctors and all that. But we can't, because we don't know. We, like I said, the protection right now, because there's
Hmm.
so many variables. Protection is key and
Right.
paramount right now, and
Right.
that's a responsibility for every and each and every individual.
Hmm.
You
And like
know.
you said earlier, we have to be numbers driven. I think that a lot of people who are looking at the situation in Willingboro, as far as it being, having the highest number of confirmed cases, they're just going over that overall number of Willingboro being over 70% African American as far as the residents here, and they're just assuming that we're not doing what we're supposed to be doing.
Right. And there's a lot of
To
assumptions. Yeah, there's a lot of
right.
assumptions. You can't tell me that we're doing so much more than so much more different than Mount Laurel, so much
Hmm.
more different than everybody else. Like, and if you're saying, if somebody's going to say that, then tell me why. Tell me why
Right.
you're saying that. Prove that.
Absolutely.
You can't. There's a whole bunch of stories, and I guess that's what's more irritating and disheartening is the media is pushing this number, and there's no context around the number.
Right.
Is did the media say, oh well, more Willingboro people are testing? That
Mm.
would mean something.
Right.
Oh well, yeah, every Willingboro person that tested is African American. You can't tell me that.
Right.
Or is are all the people that are testing old,
Mhm.
or elderly? There's no, we don't have that data.
Yeah.
So we are working with the, like I said, we're working with the county, and we're seeking clarification on your
Hmm.
numbers.
Yeah.
Because at one point, if you went onto the dashboard, for the county, it would say, let's say we have 311 cases of COVID-19, and it would say 311 people were tested. So that would say
Hmm.
100% of the people have it, and that's
Huh.
impossible,
Yeah.
or highly unlikely. Let me say
Absolutely.
that. So the data has to be formed a little bit better, and we
Right.
probably need some. There's a lot of gaps in the data,
Hmm.
so I would hold off on saying that it's African American, it's just African Americans, or
Hmm.
anything, because it's not. There's nothing
Right. Right.
yet. And
Yeah.
as our freeholder, Felicia Hobson, she had said, probably do a regression analysis,
Hmm.
over the next couple of years to
Right.
determine what actually it was. But from leadership from Willingboro, we want to know some things now also.
Hmm.
you know
Absolutely.
we want to try to dig down into the numbers and dig down to understand why we're high, because that is, it's something to be concerned about.
Hmm.
Do I think people should panic about it? No,
No.
because relative to our population, it's still low.
Hmm.
There's certain things that are still low, and you haven't tested everybody. you know so we got to put things in perspective.
Right.
I
Right.
think
I believe
overall.
that Willingboro has been under a microscope
Yes.
because of those numbers, and I can imagine why a lot of people are getting discouraged. Thinking that maybe
Hmm.
we're not doing enough. We're
Hmm.
trying to flatten the curve. We've been staying in quarantine, only going out if it's absolutely necessary, but yet
Hmm.
they're reporting that our numbers are very high and climbing. What do you say to those people who may feel like, what, forget it, this isn't working? Those who are feeling discouraged now.
Right. And so again, the whole country is going through this.
Mhm.
So I mean, I know it's hard. I agree. It's a little bit more difficult, but we are blessed in many ways. You can go
Right.
outside, you can walk. You have Willingboro has backyards.
Hmm.
We have a little spacious housing, but I can see it's easy to get overwhelmed, especially when you're being bombarded
Hmm.
with negative media.
Absolutely.
And that's where I think as a council, we're trying to put it in perspective. Like
Hmm.
that's what we're trying to do, is really put it in perspective.
Right.
Because when you just throw that number out like that,
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
pounds at you every 2 days. Like I started feeling it too. I'm
Hmm.
like, oh, Willingboro surges to the top. Willingboro's top again, and 5 times. It's like,
Yeah.
come on,
Right.
you know. And so we want to get to the bottom of why the numbers are what they are.
Hmm.
If they tell us that we're testing a whole lot more than everyone else, that may answer something.
Right.
So we're trying to that data wasn't readily available. How
Hmm.
many people actually tested from Willingboro? We might have tested way more. And I
Right.
want people to continue to test. I'm happy people are testing.
Hmm.
But if that's the reason why our numbers are highest, then I take it.
Right. Right.
We got it.
And I do
But
see that one of our viewers did just post that we are getting tested in Willingboro. We're doing our
mhm,
part to
mhm,
to make things happen.
right.
Yeah,
But
it's
it's being twisted. But
right.
if you're not mindful of it, the media is pushing a
Hmm.
different narrative. Oh,
Absolutely.
y'all are, you're infected. That it's wording.
Right.
And
Right.
what's actually being pushed into your eyes and your ears.
Hmm.
That story. And so we have to. That's what I'm saying. It's all about perspective.
Right.
Right. But no newspaper said, "Oh yeah, well, Willingboro's getting more tested, so
Hmm.
therefore that would make sense. They would have more cases."
Right. Right.
That should be, responsible media should have put that as part of
Right.
the story.
Because I can
You know,
imagine in so many other places where people are just brushing it off and not getting tested at all,
correct.
so there's no way to count those
Right.
numbers.
And got two. Oh,
Right.
they got two confirmed cases. Oh, we're doing. You
Yeah.
didn't get
Yeah.
tested.
If anything, our large number of confirmed cases in Willingboro should show how responsible we are. The
Yeah.
fact that we are
Yes.
going out and getting
Yes.
checked on, and yeah.
Right. So I mean, and so that's what I'm saying. All about perspective, like that.
Hmm.
That is because I mean, even being confirmed, and the way media's pushing it, being confirmed is not necessarily a death sentence.
Absolutely. Right.
Do we have to be careful? Absolutely.
Hmm.
But they're pushing this. Oh, another case is confirmed. So
Mm.
people are aligning that with it's spreading. They're aligning it with a lot of different things,
Right.
which a confirmation that you have corona doesn't mean, sir, it doesn't necessarily mean you're spreading. It just means you
Right.
have it.
Right.
At this point, you got it from somewhere. It's not telling you
Hmm.
where you got it. You have it.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
wish they would test people who don't have symptoms. Test
Yeah.
a lot of people. You can kind of see where it's going, but the
Right.
way they're doing it now is kind of the data set is very tight and
Yeah.
very small. So it's
And
really hard to make a determination.
right. It's very unfortunate that you have to have symptoms just for them
Correct.
to even administer the test in the first place.
Right.
And then the other
Right.
question that I would like to know is, after someone has tested positive, after they've gone through that period of time where the virus runs its course, are they being retested?
Some people are, some people are
Hmm.
not. So that's what I'm
Right.
saying. So it's a lot of gaps in the data.
Hmm.
So it's hard for me to determine certain things
Yeah.
because I would think if you wanted to know about the virus, you would test the people
Hmm.
that have it. 2 weeks later you test them again. I would think that
Right.
would be the
Right.
natural course of action.
Right.
But apparently we don't have enough tests, so you have
Hmm.
to be a little bit careful in what you're testing. But that would be good data to know
Hmm.
what's really happening.
Right.
Without that data, how do you know? So now we're getting. Let's say I'm going to use my 311. That's from yesterday. 311
Hmm.
for Willingboro.
Hmm.
And 20 people are recovered. What
Right.
about the rest of the people?
Right.
But that's because they're not following up, with everyone. So it's
Right.
hard. So there's people that are getting tested positive. They're still walking outside. There's no way to enforce
Hmm.
quarantine.
Right.
So again, it's individual responsibility. Let's start at least caring about others.
Yeah.
That's something that we really need to do.
Absolutely.
But the quarantine, we say self quarantine, but
Hmm.
in order to really quarantine, you have to get a court order. There's a whole lot of stuff to go for a
Yeah.
real quarantine.
Yeah.
So we're relying on people. We're relying on our neighbors to make sure that they do the proper diligence. But there's
Right.
really no proper follow up, I would
Mm.
say, or
Right.
to determine whether whether people are recovering or
Right. Right.
infecting or
Because I can imagine that even after at the tail end of the recovery period, one could probably still infect others. And
Right,
even
and
though
that's
you may
a whole
feel,
question.
it's like the flu. You may feel like you're over it, but you can still be walking around with the flu symptoms, and still have it and just think
Right.
that you're done.
Right, and there's so many other questions surrounding it. If
Hmm.
you get it, can you get it again? Are you
Right.
still a carrier? Or there's
Hmm.
so this is it's new territory, it's new
Yeah,
frontier,
it is.
which is unsettling for a lot of people,
Hmm.
understandably. So and it's evolving rapidly.
Hmm.
That's the part that's a little scary too, because one day you can walk into the store with no mask. The
Hmm.
next day I need a mask. I'm like, well, I hope I didn't get it when there was no mask.
Right,
I was
right,
just in the
right.
store where everybody was breathing on each other
Yeah, yeah.
and
And I've
passing it
seen
like
I've seen
sardines.
that quite a bit. I've seen
Oh,
that
in the
quite a bit. Yeah,
beginning, remember
yeah.
the governor
Hmm.
first when he was first shutting stuff down?
Yeah,
People were in Meat Stop, Produce
yeah.
Junction, ShopRite. Everybody was breathing on
Everywhere.
each other,
Hmm.
And so I was like, "What?" In my mind, I was like,
Yeah.
"I'm everybody probably got it now," because
Not to mention watching all these press conferences with people standing, less than
Amen.
arm's length away from each other. They're talking about 6 feet, but they're standing right next to each other, not
And
wearing masks. But they're
on the
telling us
news.
that we're supposed to do those
Oh,
things.
I've watched that, before they did the mask stuff.
Hmm.
That was a thing. Like they would be telling people to social distance and wash your
Right.
hands. All the while they're standing 1 foot against each other. The news people are standing together, and I'm like, okay, so that's why people are confused, and that's
Yes.
why people are not taking this seriously
Hmm.
because
Absolutely.
the leadership wasn't taking they're making press conferences and
Hmm.
you're standing next to each other, breathing on each other again,
Hmm.
and expecting people to take it seriously because in all honesty, it's a little confusing.
Yeah. Yeah.
You're calling it a pandemic. You're raising this anxiety among people,
Hmm.
but then I can still go get grassy. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Like
Right.
it's
Right.
very confusing. It's a
Yeah.
limbo.
Yeah.
I can still get my cheesesteak if I need it. Like
Yeah.
as
That
long as
that
you can still
determination
get it.
between what's essential and what's non-essential
Yeah,
just never makes
it's
any
blurred.
sense.
I still can
Yeah.
get my Amazon packages.
Right. And
You
I can
know?
imagine that there are a lot of Amazon packages being delivered during quarantine. I mean, come on. Uh huh.
Amazon's
So you
rich.
looking kind of guilty, but we're not gonna go there.
I'm
But
looking at
anyway,
my box right there. I'm like,
so earlier you mentioned taking care of each other, and I just want to say, for one, I'm grateful for our elected officials in Willingboro. I feel like, contrary to what the media is trying to spin on our town, we really are doing our thing. Y'all are doing a great thing with staying proactive, with keeping us informed, with even getting in the trenches in the community and helping people, and we're grateful for that. I know that we recently put in orders for the parks to be closed and things like that. My question to you is, when it comes to us, getting that curve flattened down and doing what we're supposed to do you feel like Willingboro is complying and that, we haven't been having a lot of reports of social gatherings and things of that nature?
for the most part, I would say yes, we are complying. However,
Hmm.
there's still some issues,
There
and
always will be.
now, like I said, now is the time to
Hmm.
snitch. Call them,
Right.
call the police,
Right.
like call them, because we're
Hmm.
trying. Like nobody's trying to be in this state forever. Like nobody's
Right.
trying to be in this pandemic
Hmm.
mindset forever. Like
No,
let's
definitely
come
not.
on.
Mm-mm.
Now if you're just doing stuff that partying, we do have a couple of parties that were
Hmm.
reported. That's ridiculous. Come on. Like, come on. Like I said, and I'm a
Hmm.
conspiracy theorist, but I'm like, come on, let's just stop. Like, I don't care
Right.
what you believe, let's just stop. That's why
Right.
I'm like, snitches will not get stitches this time.
Not in
Let's
this
go.
case. Right.
Let's
Right.
snitch.
Right.
And I don't the number. I should know the number off the top of my head. I guess
It's
can
okay.
you
It's,
put it
it's on the
down?
it's on the website.
It's on the
It's
website.
also
Okay.
on the Willingboro Township Police. They have a Facebook page as well. So if everyone would go over to that page, make sure you like that page so
Yes.
that you can also stay informed regarding information that's being put out by our local police department.
Mm-hmm.
They do have a non-emergency line that people can call if you need to report something, and you can do it anonymously.
Please call,
Yeah.
please.
Hmm.
If there's gatherings at the store, I've seen a couple of gatherings at the store, or store businesses not conforming, to
Hmm.
the new laws.
Right.
Um, so if you see it, that's one of our best bets.
Right.
Too is we need the eyes of our residents, we need their eyes and ears to
Hmm.
make sure that we're taking care of our community and those who
Right.
are vulnerable in our community. That I mean,
Right.
that regardless of what you believe about this virus,
Yeah.
that is our responsibility.
And
You
thanks
know,
to Adilma, I think it was Adilma Spalding. She just posted. Yes, Adilma Spalding just posted the number to the
thank you,
non-emergency
Adelma.
line. It's 609-877-3000. So if anyone needs
3,000,
to,
yes. Okay.
save that number in your phone, do so.
Yes.
Yeah, actually, our mayor Tiffany Worthy just shared as well. So she confirmed that number, and we're asking
Thank
everyone
you,
to please
doctor.
jot that down. Thank you so much, Dr. Worthy. Yeah, so we really appreciate you coming on and sharing information with us. I do
Mhm.
want to share that we did have someone who I think it was Will that posted. To be fair, there is no proof for any narrative. We could be testing lower or higher. That is true. We could be testing lower or higher than what's being reported. Either way, we just want to just pat ourselves on the back. That I feel like we're doing a good job when it comes to staying home,
Mhm.
and that our elected officials are doing a great job when it comes to keeping us informed. So there's
Yeah.
no need to go out and see for ourselves what's going on, because we have enough people reporting. We don't have to go off of just what's being done on a federal level, or
Correct.
when in the national realm. But in Willingboro, we are keeping ourselves informed, and that's a great thing.
No, and
So
I agree. I
yeah,
agree. I agree. I agree totally. But yeah, I can't even argue with that one bit.
yeah. So we also we're hoping that more people who have been infected with COVID-19 and recovered, or someone who's even currently infected, could talk to us about that process, because I would love
Yes.
to know
Yes.
how that process is. I remember seeing someone post about testing positive, and that they had a phone call that lasted 40 minutes with a health department with a questionnaire. I would like to know how that process is and how
Yeah,
they're
and
being treated in the
I'm
midst of the
curious too.
process.
And
Yeah.
I think that's a great point.
Mhm.
If people are willing to share their stories, that's part of our data. That we don't have
Right.
to rely on the county for. That's part of our data that we can
Hmm.
start to gather and see, people's experiences if they're willing
Right.
to share. Like I said, I don't think Corona is some nasty disease or something to be ashamed of or anything like
Right.
that.
Right.
But it's up to the individual if they want to share. I
Yeah.
think that
Yeah.
is great data, and that helps us help each other, I believe.
Right. And you know
So
what? It's true, because I think that some people do have a misconception about coronavirus
mhm.
and the way that you can contract it and everything, because
Right.
the way people look at others when they cough
When
or
they
when they
cough,
sneeze now, it's just,
I'm like,
I
I
mean,
just
personally, I have bronchitis. I cough quite often. And
hmm
I remember in the beginning of this, same people that I've been around, on the regular, who probably never noticed my chronic cough until COVID-19 came out. And then it's like, wait a minute, why are you coughing over here? So, everybody's kind of getting
right.
scared, and they just got to understand that it's not as bad as people think, that as they're trying to make it out to be. I do know some people who have had COVID-19 and
hmm
recovered from COVID-19
Yes.
and reported that they never got to the point where they had breathing issues.
Yes, and that's the majority. It's the
Hmm.
majority of people, but I guess that's again with media. That's my problem. They're not pushing that.
Right.
Also, that like you're not hearing that as much. That's part of the story. That's what I mean by
Right.
the narrative. Those numbers that are being issued, to about confirmed cases. There's a whole other part of the story too.
Right.
Yes, we do
Absolutely.
have some deaths that we have to be mindful of our families that suffered fatalities. Yes, we
Hmm.
have to be mindful of that. And there are also plenty of recoveries. But
Right.
that's not in the same
Hmm.
article as Willingboro surging to the top of the
Right.
charts.
Right.
Oh my God, Willingboro's the worst.
Hmm.
And I think that's where the balance comes in. That's why I'm saying I think my concern is you're causing our residents to have this anxiety
Yes.
and
Yes.
fear, and that's not
Hmm.
our objective. We're not supposed to operate. We don't need Willingboro needs not operate through fear
Not at all.
and it's panic.
Hmm.
We're not there to
Right.
operate out of under those conditions.
Hmm.
Let's be vigilant.
Yes.
Let's be vigilant of our families and of our community. Absolutely, but the way my concern is the way the media is pushing this against us, and
Hmm.
it is causing anxiety among our residents. Period.
Right. Right.
So
Understood.
again, our you know one of my pushes is to get this put it in perspective. Let's put it in real
Hmm.
perspective as best we can. There's no absolutes, obviously,
Right.
with this virus, because it's the discoveries are ever evolving.
Hmm.
You know, but you're not going to just put out a number and get away with it. You're not going to
Right.
just say, "Hey, oh, you black people or this and
Hmm.
that," and you're dirty and you're insubordinate. Like, you're just
Hmm.
not going to say that with
Right.
nothing behind it.
Because that can't be further from the truth. I mean, it's not even the case here. We're
Right.
doing
Right.
everything that we're supposed to be doing, and we can't help it that it just so happens that the numbers are where they are
Right.
in our area.
Right.
So, you know
Right.
what, Deputy Mayor McIntosh, thank you so much for
You're
joining
quite
us today.
welcome.
If you had something encouraging, I ask everyone when we end our interviews if you want to say something encouraging to the residents to keep the morale up and to keep us,
Yeah.
inspired to continue to fight this fight. What would you say?
Well, I'm just saying we're in it. We're not in a bad space.
Hmm.
Honestly. Um, I'm gonna push it, like, we gotta look out for each other, as a community. And love one another. We this is an opportunity to really show that, and to really, pray for our neighbors,
Hmm.
uplift our neighbors. I'm the worst caller. All my friends, everybody who knows me will know I'm the worst caller. I gotta do better. I gotta
Hmm.
do better.
Hmm.
But it's giving me an opportunity to reach out and talk to, call my neighbors across the street, make sure they're good. And this is a time to connect with your family, connect with your neighbors. We got Facebook. Connect with other residents in Willingboro
Hmm.
virtually, not together. No hugs, no nothing. But we have time now, and to be introspective. We have a little bit of time to put things in place properly, and
Yes,
try to maintain positivity. You
absolutely.
know.
Absolutely. Well, Deputy Mayor, thank you so much
Thank you.
for joining us today.
I'll
We
be
really
back if I have
appreciate it.
updates.
Hmm.
And
Okay,
one more
yeah, please
point,
do.
tomorrow, Samantha Whitfield
Yes.
for our census. Let's be
Hmm.
number one in the census. Let's do
Right,
that. Let's
right.
be number one in the newspaper for the census,
Absolutely.
returns. So,
Absolutely. We do have an interview live tomorrow at 5 p.m. with Councilwoman Samantha Whitfield. We also have a live at noon tomorrow with school board president Carlos Worthy.
oh,
So
cool.
we're also asking that everyone please join in tomorrow afternoon for those live meetings, so that we can continue to keep the community informed. So thank you all so much for joining and for
Thank
watching,
you.
and
And
we'll
I'll
see you
offer
again soon.
as I get updates. Like I said, the
Hmm.
county's committed to working with us. If I when I get updates, I'm more than willing to share.
Thank you. We
Thank
appreciate that. See, that's one of the things that we love about our elected officials. Y'all are hands on. Y'all are
Yeah,
there to make
the
sure that we
county's
have
bad about it.
what
I
we
got to give it
need
to
out there
us.
passing out food and stuff. I
Yes,
mean,
yes,
y'all doing it. Y'all doing it.
yes.
So
We
and this
appreciate
is
it.
one of the things that I personally love about Willingboro. This is why I feel like I was drawn to this place. I've been
Amen.
here. It's going on 4 years, and I feel like I've been drawn to this place for a purpose. And I'm so grateful to be amongst such great people. So I
Thank
just want to say we're signing off for now. Thank you all for
Yes.
watching, and we'll see
Thank
you again
you.
soon.
Bye, Willenboro. Bye bye.